Brenton Shane Begley, Brenton S. Begley, B.S. Begley. So how you doing this morning, B.S.?
Great, man.
Yeah?
Great. Yeah.
I mean, I'm doing well. I'm just glad to be here. Thank you all for listening at home. And really, this is an impromptu thing. I talked to Calvin about doing this show, and we wanted to pop on and talk a little bit about what's going on in the world. So, Hayden, you know, back when we used to do this radio show for a long time, we did this for a few years, every Friday at 10 a.m., the Elder Law Report. I'm glad we're back. How do you feel about it?
I'm loving it.
Yeah?
Yes. I just look back on the ones we've done and the information that you've provided for everyone, and I just want that to continue.
I think everybody's scared to death. I was saying this morning, I don't remember a time in history where our country was as scared and fearful as they are right now.
I think that's reasonable. I think people
Not
see
during
enough
my
to be
lifetime.
afraid. Well, yeah, and it's maybe in mine, but I was too young to remember anything, you know. So most of the people won't have a recollection of this.
That's right. And during my lifetime, just to let you guys know out there, I'm a young buck. I'm not too young. I was born in 1975. Okay, 1975, right? Which was a great year, and because I was born that year, and some cool movies came out around that time, right? But you know what? I don't remember, and I like to think of things in context. Hey, my son, I'd like to thank him. He's my tripod today. He's filming live. If you want to go see this, you can go to the KTC Broadcasting Facebook page or YouTube page. You can watch this thing live, or go to our Facebook page, the McIntyre Elder Law Facebook page. We're filming live. Jordan, you can move around the studio. Did you know that? Yes. You can do that. Jordan McIntyre is here today. He's been working with me. He's home from Chapel Hill, and he is a history major. Jordan, right? Jordan loves history, I think, because it gives him context. So I'd like to talk a little bit about history in maybe the first 15 minutes, a little about how this ranks in perspective, and because it gives us perspective. A lot of my clients, I'm an estate planning and elder law attorney. They've been through polio. I mean, I have people close to me who have survived polio, who have had polio.
I remember them giving the shots at the schools.
The vaccine.
Yeah.
Right. You used to get smallpox vaccine, which is a horrible, horrible thing.
They finally got the sugar cubes.
Right.
But too late for me, and I was shot phobic.
You got the shot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kicking and screaming.
And then, but we've survived those things. We've come through those things, right? As a human race.
I think one of the biggest differences that we have now, as opposed to when, polio was really a big concern,
right,
or maybe even Spanish flu, something like that, is the fact that we have a larger population and we have a better way to spread information, right? I mean, we have media and we have social media.
So it's a 24-hour in-your-face news cycle.
Absolutely.
You can't think about anything else.
Right. So the fear is real because the fear is ever present.
It's in your face.
That's right.
We could turn it off. Or speak more, or seek more positive outlets.
You can. It's not as easy to do now.
A lot of people think there's overreaction. That the Spanish flu we survived, and H1N1 and so forth. But I saw an article the other day posted on Facebook. It was a clipping from a newspaper from the Spanish flu, ordering everybody to go home and stay there.
Right. Stay-at-home orders.
Yes. And
I'm not really going to comment on what my feelings on whether it's an overreaction or underreaction. I think we want to save lives, and every life is important.
Absolutely.
Especially with our audience and client base, which is, I'm an estate planning and elder law attorney, and they're vulnerable, right? That population is very vulnerable.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like you said, you're a young buck, and so am I, right? Yeah. So I don't think
you're a little bit younger of a buck than I am.
Right. So I don't think we're allowed to say that, you shouldn't be concerned because we're not at risk population.
Right. Yeah. Because I'm not speaking for that person.
Right.
Right. Yeah. And I think everybody has to, kind of measure their own risk right now. And also hopefully trust that the government is doing what they can to fend for and protect us. Okay.
Well, they know more than we do. We always know that there's things that they don't tell us.
I wish they didn't.
Well,
why don't they tell us?
I don't know. I have mixed
feelings. Are they afraid they might
that.
panic or scare us because they've already done that?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? I wish they'd.
Well, I have to trust because I'm not happy with the way things are going. I have to trust that they understand and they know more than I do. And I also believe that because President Trump says, I just don't think we need to scare everyone. I think we need to be calming and give people hope and encouragement. I hope that's not all it is. I hope we are getting a pretty good picture of what to expect.
I hope so too. So I just hope that, and no matter what your political affiliation is out there, we do not care. Okay. We just want you to be safe and happy and healthy during this time of fear, and during this time of crisis. So there's the stay-at-home order. Let's talk about what that stay-at-home order means. If everybody doesn't know, Britton, what does the stay-at-home order from Governor Roy Cooper say?
Yeah. So basically, he's encouraging everybody to shelter in place, and there's some exceptions though, right? So generally, you're not allowed to leave home for non-essential reasons. So the exceptions are the essential reasons, right? So you can go to the grocery store and you can go to places like laundromats, things like that, everyday things that you would need. You're also allowed to do things like visit your attorney or visit your accountant or financial planner, things like that, because those businesses have been deemed essential.
Professional services.
Right. And I think speaking of fear, there might be a little bit of fear out there based on what can and what we cannot do with regard to leaving our own homes. And I think that, I would encourage people to still take precautions, but at the same time understand that, you're not going to get in trouble for going out and doing something that you need to do, because those exceptions have been carved out in that executive order by Roy Cooper.
Exactly. And I think it's a well-drafted order. I really do.
I do too.
And I feel for people who have been deemed non-essential in that order also. Mm-hmm. And I feel for their families. Mm-hmm. And I feel for the livelihood of the potential 32 million businesses out there that are being shut down by this for extended periods of time.
Right.
I really have a lot of love and fear. And I'd also, I hope that they maintain hope during this situation as well, and find a way to still keep the money flowing in, keep food on the table for their families. That's what I wonder, what's going to make us sicker.
Yeah.
In the end, the coronavirus are shutting down 32 million businesses in this country.
It's a weird balance that we're trying to strike right now, is keeping, taking precautions, keeping people home and weathering the storm, but at the same time, how long can we do that with our economy and how fragile it can be?
I wanted to introduce everyone around the table a little more in depth as we get into this discussion, a little more about how you can take control, about how you can find peace in a storm, in any crisis or storm. And I'll start by introducing myself. I'm Greg McIntyre, JD, MBA. What that means is not as important as the other parts I'm going to tell you, but I'm an attorney, okay? I'm an elder law and estate planning attorney. I have a firm called McIntyre Elder Law. We have an office in Uptown Charlotte and Uptown Shelby, North Carolina. And we cater to seniors and their families and help them protect their hard-earned money and property, and put in place important documents, especially during crisis situations like general durable powers of attorney, healthcare powers of attorney, living wills and wills, things you need in place, especially, heaven forbid, you get quarantined. So that's what I do. That's who I am. Moreover, I'm a husband and father of 6, husband of 1, father of 6. That I wanted to make sure I differentiated that I'm not married to 6 women. I am married to 1 woman, a beautiful woman, Stephanie McIntyre, who's awesome.
She's
6
awesome.
Beautiful children.
Oh, yeah.
Jordan, Tucker, Savannah, Madison, Alex, Kate.
Got those memorized real well.
In that order, from oldest to youngest, okay? And we really care about all our team members and employees at our office. So if you need help during this situation, I would ask for your help. Give us a call. We will help you, and we will help each other through this crisis, okay? Brenton, is my law partner at McIntyre Elder Law. Brenton, if you want to introduce yourself a little more.
Yeah, my name is Brenton Begley. People call me Brent. And my middle initial, as you had specified earlier, is S. So people call me BS.
He's the most
as well.
non-BS
Yeah.
person I know.
Yeah, I'm very straightforward. No BS. No BS Begley.
We
That's
should
right.
call you No BS.
There you go.
That's
I
right.
like that one.
Yeah.
That should be on your card. No BS Begley.
Yeah, we need to
On the
switch it
back.
up.
We need the no,
Yeah.
and then the big BS, and then Begley.
That's right.
I like that.
That's right. I do not have an MBA like Greg, but I do have an LLM in tax law. What that is a master's in tax law that I got from the University of Florida. Don't judge me. I was just there for a year, and I came right back to North Carolina. But a lot of people think that I will do tax returns and things like that. I do not do that, although I'm happy to talk about them. The tax degree is more over, big picture things, right? And it helps with a lot of the planning that we do to help people save their hard-earned property
You're
and
certainly
money.
not tax attorneys, but you need to have an understanding of how passing assets through an estate or
Right.
trust or deed is going to affect things like capital gains and other aspects like estate and gift tax.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you need to know about that and think about that when you're putting together your estate plan. So glad that we have you in the office, Brenton, and that you have that focus, that LLM.
Yeah.
In
It
tax
came
law.
in handy. Trust me.
Yeah, no
Came in
doubt.
handy.
And then the Hayden Soloway. Hayden, for the two people out there listening who don't know who you are, we have lots more than two listening, but most people know who you are. Who are you?
I'm Hayden Soloway, and I'm going to go back to my having gone to work for you. I went there for 2 weeks, and after the third day, just about every day for that 2-week period, why won't you come work for me? Why won't you come work for me? Well, I was retired and just went there for 2 weeks because I had had legal experience. I'd worked for 5 different attorneys in my lifetime, maybe short periods of time, but so I finally did. So I was
And then
there.
you fired them. You fired them.
Yeah.
All but me.
I learned what Greg did. I saw what he was doing for seniors. I also am the senior member of Greg's team and can relate that side of I can kind of identify with your clients.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of why I'm still here. I'm on call and special projects. I do have my retirement bag, but it's conditional. So
If there's one thing I know, Hayden, is that you're a character and that you can talk and that we can get a conversation going about something. It may be controversial, but it's going to go, okay?
Well,
so I always know that. So
I'm going
thank
to try
you.
to keep the controversy out of
Thank you for
radio
joining us
show.
today. I
Thank you,
appreciate
Greg.
that. So what are, Hayden, you've talked about some things that people and seniors and their families can do during this situation. Remember we used to have a section of the show that was just your time?
My happy place.
I'd like to give you Hayden's happy place today.
You give me my happy place.
Yes, I am.
For 2 weeks, I did not see my grandchildren or my children. They were spring breaking, but they were smart about it. My granddaughter's sorority, they weathered in together, and try to keep some distance. Then I rented a house at the beach. They didn't keep distance there. It was family, but they were all together. And so I haven't seen any of them for 2 weeks until yesterday. So that's pretty much where my happy place was. But we talked about how they separately had managed or not managed their social distancing and things like that. So I was right there in my happy place. But I can talk about seniors who, especially people in nursing homes, are not having a happy place. I remember one of the nursing homes we went to, Greg, I'll never forget. I walked in and they had the oldies cranked up and the people, they were more alert. It was an atmosphere that they created for these people. Now that they can't see relatives, their only visitors are the people who come in to check their temperature or, just do the normal daily care for them. It's nice to spend a couple of extra minutes with these people and try to make up for the conversation that they don't get from others. And just little special things like that. So I
prayers and encouragement out there to
And phone
everybody
calls.
working out in the healthcare field and everybody working in assisted living and nursing homes to put a little extra pep in your step and a little extra love in your something else that starts with an L in your day?
Well,
And communicate that to the people that you're caring for.
the muscles in my face that make me smile make me feel good.
Right.
So I
Sure.
end up getting it back by doing it that way.
So you feel better.
And
right?
if I get a call from my
Sure.
grandchildren or my children or my sister, it just brightens my day. So, I mean, for heaven's sake, please call your seniors, call and have a conversation with them. And there's a new thing, my technology and seniors.
Oh, you're great with technology with
One
seniors.
more, and then I'll be
Sure.
through with the technology.
I still love the one that I'd encourage people to go back and just Google for us. Alexa, right? Remember the Alexa for seniors
Oh, yeah.
episode we did, the Elder Law Report, Alexa? All you have to do is Google that and we'll come up.
I can make a phone
It
call.
does a ton.
I can make a phone call with Alexa.
Oh, I make them too.
In my
Just tell it what to
if I've got them in my contacts. But this is a photo share, and all it does is receive photographs.
Mm-hmm.
They're about $110, but you set them up and connect them.
Is it like a
Wi-Fi.
picture frame?
Yeah.
It's a picture frame you
they
put
have
in your
they
house.
have some of about this size, and they have some that are about a larger iPad or a smaller iPad
Well,
size. But
For the
it
people on the
just
radio, they
receives
can't see
photographs.
this size. So maybe an 8 by 10 or
You're going to show it on your website.
we're going to show it. True story.
Yes.
Yes.
It's, like a small iPad and a large
Yes.
iPad.
Okay.
But you just send pictures. So my grandchildren, if I had one, we do iPads and iPhones, and we
So
don't
you
need
can
that.
send a picture to
Just
somebody.
photographs, and they
How
come
cool
in
is
on
that?
this machine, and it's. I haven't seen one other than on Amazon.
What if someone was in an assisted living
That's where
or
I'm
in
going.
a nursing home?
That's where I'm going. Wouldn't it be nice just periodically sit? You don't have to have a conversation with them. Send pictures of whatever you're doing during the
Right.
day, or
So
just
they can
waving to
see.
grandma. Yeah,
Can you send a little video?
I have no idea.
Wouldn't it be cool if
would.
somebody out there hasn't designed it to do that? Somebody invent that, so you can
Something
send a
that they
little
don't
video
have
with
to
sound.
respond to or push a button to
Yeah,
receive.
it
It's
just
something.
sends them a little message and says, "Hey, mom,
Yeah,
Hey,
I think
Grandma.
it's wonderful. I just love it.
love you."
And other things you can do. I ordered these little things. Thank you, Amazon. Thank you, Amazon. A million times thank you. These are little butterflies. Remember the airplanes when we were little? When I was little, you used to wind up the propeller with a rubber
course I
band,
do.
and it would get tight.
Of course I
and
love
you
this
let
stuff.
go, and it would fly. Well, these little.
They were usually like a balsa wood, and then but the wings were like paper usually or something.
No,
or
they
some
were
kind
they
of
were balsa wood
styrofoam
too.
or something.
Yeah, styrofoam. I think they
Styrofoam,
got
yeah,
to
yeah.
later on, but back in the older days, all we had was these
Right.
whatever. But these are the same principle. There, you wind them up, and it tells you how many times to wind them, and you put them inside a card. You mail the card, and when they open the card, out comes the butterfly.
Out comes the butterfly.
Yes,
They fly
so
everywhere, and it
I'm going to
scares
send
you to
these
death.
to
You
my
have a heart attack.
nieces. It'll give them something fun to get from me, and so just little things like that. Anything to make anybody smile. I'm a big person on smiles.
I mean, so
that's pretty
your cure for Corona, right? The Corona blues right now is a smile.
Yes.
Is a smile.
When I call,
Yeah.
you can hear a smile on the phone.
Sure.
And if someone calls your office, hi, how are you?
Right.
It doesn't take much. Thank you for calling McIntyre Elder Law. This is Hayden. How may I help you? You can hear that.
Can you cheer yourself up
Oh yes,
in the mirror
I promise you,
by
it works.
smiling?
I promise you don't have to look in the mirror. You feel it in your
even
face.
if you don't feel good?
it will make you
can-
feel better.
I agree.
Fake it till you make it.
Fake it until you make it. I
But
like
if you
that.
hear the difference, this. Thank you for calling McIntyre Elder Law. How may I help you? You don't
Right.
hear it, but you
No,
can
but
hear a
if you
smile.
thank you for calling McIntyre Elder Law. How may I help
How
you?
may I help you?
Right.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Hayden, do you have any other segments of your happy place this morning?
No, not
Okay.
happy place.
Then
Some
what
things
I'll-
that are
yeah.
not unhappy. I have a ribbon here, and I put that on because of a Navy ship, the Theodore Roosevelt.
Yes.
Now they've had, I don't know, 40 or 50 sailors come down with coronavirus on
Right.
that ship. So it's kind of been taken out of service.
Right.
But they're still on the ship, and there are plenty of other ships
They're kind of
around.
quarantined there. Yeah.
But I just put that on kind of to honor them. They did this in service of our country.
Honoring our veterans. Thank
Yep.
you. I appreciate
And
it.
I'm sure that
as a
there are
fellow
others-
veteran in the Navy, I appreciate
well,
it.
the Navy was, I knew your branch. And this one is for first responders.
Sure.
My son is with the sheriff's department, and I know a lot of people who are first responders, and they're being exposed to this every day. They're doing it for us.
Sure.
They're protecting us and so forth. So I'm just kind of wearing these, and if somebody asks, I'll tell them.
Hayden's wearing something to symbolize her support for the veterans out there and for the first responders, the firemen, police. I'd say even healthcare people, EMS that are on the front lines.
The doctors and the nurses.
Yep. So thank you all of you veterans. Thank you for you, our people on the front lines, law enforcement, EMS workers, physicians, nurses, nursing home workers, assisted living workers. Thank you for everybody on the front lines that are caring for people right now in this time of crisis. And I'd like to say that Hayden's Happy Place on the Elder Law Report was brought to you by McIntyre Elder Law. At McIntyre Elder Law, we help seniors protect their assets and legacies. And during this time, McIntyre Elder Law is doing what we feel is our civic duty and waiving our consultation fees. If you would like to take advantage of a free consultation with McIntyre Elder Law, you can call 704-749-9244 or go online to mcelderlaw.com where you can send us a message or chat with someone 24 hours a day. They can even live connect you to our office by phone, straight from the website. It's amazing technology, and it works really well. So Hayden's Happy Place brought to you by McIntyre Elder Law. What do you think about that, Hayden?
This is the first, as far as I know.
Right.
I know you give free consultations at seminars to the people who attend seminars.
If they attend the seminar, and then we generally sign a book, Saving the Farm, and usually give them an estate planning map, okay, which is a visual representation, kind of like a Monopoly board on how estate planning works. So you can sit down and visually see that with your family. I'll tell you what.
But isn't this the first time you've ever just offered?
I would be glad to offer a free signed copy of Saving the Farm if you come in for a consult during this crisis. We also, you don't have to come into our office. We're taking precautions to social distance and prevent any spread of coronavirus, but you can come in, or we'll do it by phone consult. 704-749-9244. Set up your free consult with your family. We could certainly do conference calls. We have that technology. And we are already prepared for this. I built us for crisis situations. So we are already set up for virtual conferencing. So video conferencing. Video consults are already built into our system. Every appointment we make on our calendar has the option for a video consult. So if you've got a computer or a phone, you can do a video consult with our office and our attorneys. And we're offering that for free. To give you a scope of what we're offering, we've waived all our attorney consult fees. That means you get the hundreds of thousands of dollars of combined legal education between Britton and myself for free right now.
This is a first.
For free. And that is why I said I think that it's our civic duty right now and what I'm offering to help our community right now through this time.
Yeah, I really don't want to bar there between legal services and the public at this time, because we are really in a crisis situation where a lot of people are going to need to take control of the things they can take control over, right? So that, those are the basic estate planning documents that you need to have in place. A lot of people maybe don't have them in place. Maybe people do not know that they need to have them in place. And, another big thing is maybe you do have them in place, but they're just not right for you. So what we want to make sure is that people have the right documents in place for them so that they can take control over the things that they can actually control and have some certainty and some certitude going through this. You talk about happiness and your happy place, Hayden, and I think it's important to also understand that if you're trying to fight the corona blues, right, what you want to be able to do is have peace of mind going through it. It's hard. It's really hard in any crisis situation to have peace of mind, and the only way that you can really do that is to have some type of control over the future. And I've found that the only way to control what happens in the future is to plan today.
Or take control of the things you can, not worry about the things you can't.
Right.
Right? So one way to take control And one thing that I would encourage people to do, and I don't want to be a fearmonger or to sound too many alarms, but I am going to tell you that if you get this virus, you are quarantined.
Hopefully, yeah.
If you know you have it.
Right.
That's what's going to happen.
Well,
Therefore,
it's pretty much you have to self-quarantine.
right?
As far as I know, no one's sending out people to watch your door or whatever.
Sure.
And that's a lot of responsibility that we all need to accept.
So what if, Brenton, you don't have a general durable power of attorney, which is a financial power of attorney in place, where my wife, for instance, who's appointed, I already have this in place, my wife and I do. She is my power of attorney. She's my agent. Under the new statute, it's called an agent to handle all my financial affairs. If she can't do it, if she's quarantined, we're both quarantined, then I have Jordan, our oldest son, designated to do that. So what if I'm quarantined and I don't have those documents in place? Nobody's appointed. Why would that be important to me? Why do I care? Can't my spouse do things for me anyway?
No, I mean, there's that's a big misconception is that, next of kin can make decisions for me with regard to my legal assets and, finances and, things like that. That's not true. You have to have power of attorney to act on another person's behalf for most things.
For financial or healthcare reasons.
Right. Both. And the thing is that
what if I'm left with the wrong person making my healthcare decisions?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're getting to the point here. You're stuck with the estate plan that you have if you're quarantined. And if that's no estate plan, then you're stuck with that, right?
Right.
And so what you want to do is, if you're not in that situation, you're not quarantined, you want to make sure that you have, what you need before something like that would happen.
Sure.
Again, not trying to scare people, but that's the reality we're facing right now.
I mean, I could not make this situation up. I started to say April Fools, there's a global pandemic and the world's economy has been shut down. But that's not April Fools, man. That's the reality. There is no April Fool's joke that I can do today. Today is the first April Fool's that I've not tried to play some trick or joke. Right. Because I just feel like the reality of what's going on right now is far dwarfs any crazy situation I can make up.
Right.
Right? That I might get people to bite on and believe. So I mean, I'm not even in the mood for April Fools today because I feel like we've been living April Fools for the last 2 months.
Right.
I've noticed something that's rather new or becoming, I guess, more frequent on Facebook is funny little games. Your name starts with S. What did you have for breakfast? It must start with S. What are you wearing? It must start with S. Just silly little games like that. And one might be a puzzle that you try to figure out. So I've seen an increase in things like that. I think people are looking for something to take their minds off of how frightening some things are. An illness that is a very bad illness.
But you know what? If in the swirling hurricane of crisis and fear right now, Hurricane Corona, if you can find something stable to hold on to, it lets you look around and assess everything else and have control.
Yeah.
So one way to do that, I would say, is to make sure you have your affairs in order. I would counsel people to do that.
You'll certainly have peace of mind, which is one of your favorite expressions.
Agreed.
If you do that, you won't have to worry when you're in a hospital and you have a ventilator and you can't speak. You can't, you can barely breathe, and you're laying there. You don't want your last thoughts to be, "I should have. Why didn't I? What didn't I do? What did I not know to do?" That I think would frighten me more than anything. Which when I came to work for you, I thought I knew it all. I thought I had done it. I had my will. I even had a declaration of a desire for a natural death, a living will. I thought I was just fine. I had no idea what could have happened if I had if I died and things weren't set up properly. And that's why I ended up working for you for 4 years. After 2 weeks, because I believed in what people needed to know. You don't know what you don't know has always been my favorite expression about coming to work for you. I didn't know what I didn't know.
So, wow. I mean, that is such a serious, dire picture you just painted. Mm-hmm. But could be reality.
Look at the hundreds of thousands of people that this can happen to. I mean, we don't know how big this can be.
Right.
Yeah, it's not only Corona either. I mean, that's certainly a risk that everyone faces, young or old. But the other thing is, I mean, economic, downturns like this cause a lot more strife than even a pandemic can cause. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with this pandemic and how far it's going to go, but the economic crash in 2008, as a direct result, people died, people lost their homes, jobs, things like that. And that's another concern that I have.
Their futures took a different turn.
Yeah. It's a big concern that I have for my clients who, we say part of what we do, or a lot of what we do, is help save people's hard-earned money and property. And, that's not only helping people get things in place or helping them pay for long-term care, but that's also setting it up to prepare for situations like this.
I have a question for you, Attorney Begley.
All right.
So if I'm affected by this or another crisis and I need extensive assisted living or nursing home care, am I going to be asked to spend down my money to sell my property to pay for that care?
Oh, man. Absolutely. It's not only a crisis like this, but if you look at the numbers, 70% of individuals over the age of 65, so that's retirement age and over, need some type of long-term care in their lives. Now, that's compounded with things like this. We don't account for, economic downturn. We don't account for global pandemic. So that number could absolutely increase. And it has been increasing over the years, even without those things. And what you run into is the need to pay for that long-term care. $5,000 to $10,000 a month or more, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, right? So a lot of people can't afford that, and they turn to things like Medicaid, right? Veterans pension benefits, which we routinely help people qualify for, and because it's their right to qualify for it, they've been kicking in money to that system their whole lives, right? And so we help people with that, but
And they did their service.
yeah, or they did their service, right? We help people with that, but a lot of people try to do it on their own, and they're forced to get rid of assets, maybe in the wrong way, maybe get rid of assets they shouldn't have been getting rid of, right? And end up losing things that they could have probably kept, or at least, losing assets that they could have preserved just to qualify for some type of care, right? So that they could leave something behind for their family and still get their needs taken care of. So, I mean, the answer to your question is yes. Right now, if you're just an individual who needs some type of long-term care, before you can get it paid for, you either have to spend down your assets, right, on care, or, without help, you would have to probably get rid of things that you could preserve before you qualify for some type of benefit.
So what is a way, Brenton, that a family or senior or person out there listening can move right now? What can I do right now? What steps can I take right now to make sure I'm ready no matter what happens right now, even if it's a long-term care situation? What can I do right now?
Man,
Where do I start?
Any house, any solid building is built on a solid foundation.
Okay.
And just like any building, any house, your estate plan also needs to be built on a solid foundation, right? And those are what we call the foundational documents. Our general durable power of attorney, right? That's the financial power of attorney. Your healthcare power of attorney, your living will, and your will. And Hayden, you mentioned the living will. That's your declaration for your desire to die a natural death, so you have pre-made that decision so your family doesn't have to make it,
That's right.
right? But that's a very important document for a lot of reasons. I mean, medical debt is a real thing, and spouses can inherit medical debt here in North Carolina, and that's something to remember. It's very important. So that's very important to have in place too, because even though your spouse can make that decision, even though next of kin or healthcare power of attorney may be able to make that decision, you might not want them to make that decision for you, right? So, obviously we know the importance of the powers of attorney, and I would ask you, Attorney McIntyre, if we are looking at any of those documents and saying, okay, I want to be prepared, are there any of those documents that I can just leave out?
They're all very important. I'd start by putting, if it were me, I'd start by putting the general durable power of attorney in place so that my wife has the ability to make all my financial decisions for me, or my husband, right? If I were a woman, then my husband would have the ability to do that. Because if I'm stuck in a situation, if I'm on that ventilator, it's too late. If I'm in quarantine, it's too late. I need to make sure that she can handle my retirement. She can protect that retirement if need be. I'd make sure that she could, or he could move and protect our home, any other real estate we owned. Without that, her being able to sign for me, my wife, or if I was a female, my husband being able to sign for me, then I'm stuck. I'm done. Right?
It hasn't been too awfully long ago that
unless you go after guardianships, which is a court proceeding, and those things are really tenuous right now because of the pared down activity at the courthouse. So,
unless it's emergency guardianship, you're going to have a hard time getting in.
That's right. And then in addition, you're going to have the court appointed essentially to review any financial decisions that you make, and that might be different than what I would want to do. I would want my wife to be able to save the retirement and the real estate and have money to send my kids to college no matter what happened to me.
Yeah.
Right?
Maybe your loved one doesn't get appointed as your guardian because the court has the authority to appoint someone else.
Yeah, it could not be the person that you want to appoint. So that's extremely important. So that's the first thing. Then I'd want to make sure that if I did pass away, my stuff went to my wife. Because if I didn't have my will in place, it wouldn't go to my wife all. It would be split between my wife and my kids. And some of my kids, I've got a kid that's 6. I mean, it would, she wouldn't be able to touch any of it until she was 18, right? I mean, it would really split our assets and make it hard for my wife to take care of our kids. So I want to get my affairs in order. It's hard to rank them, but that's where I'd start. General durable power of attorney. Then I'd want to appoint the person that made my health care decisions so there's no question. Sometimes people will say, oh, well, I just want all my kids to make that decision. No, I have 6 children. Do you know how long it takes them to agree on what color something is or what to do today or where to go eat? I'm going to be laying there suffering while they try to figure out a decision. It'd take them a lifetime to try to figure out the right decision.
And I've seen families broken up over a cookbook. Just torn apart because of just simple things. And then the more important the things are, I guess, the more issues you have.
Well, I certainly don't want someone to suffer or linger with a healthcare decision because they haven't appointed the right quarterback to huddle up with the team and then run the play into the doctor, right? I mean, you want to appoint that person.
Well, Greg.
So the healthcare powers of attorney give you the ability to do that.
It hasn't been that long ago that they started requiring a durability clause. And people who have documents that they did 20 years ago may not have that aspect in. Am I wrong?
Well, I would just say this, okay? General durable powers of attorney need to be durable. That's the reason I say durable. They need to be able to survive incompetency or incapacity. It has to be written into your document. That's been written into the documents for years.
Yours?
Okay? It's been written into many attorneys' documents for years. And
okay.
Years. However,
I stand corrected.
We break ours out into a separate clause to make sure that it survives incompetency and incapacity. We suggest that they're recorded at the Register of Deeds, which are still up and running. We can record those because, oddly enough, they need. There's a number of reasons to do that. One being if something happened to that original or something, or if was burned up in a fire, lost in a crisis. You could always get a certified true copy from the Register of Deeds. So there's a number of things there. I would move into other areas too. Britain, a will might not be the best place to pass my hard-earned money and property. And by the way, I'd pause for a little station identification, which is this. That's not what it is. Milton's looking at me and saying, this isn't station identification. Are you going to do one, Milton? Okay, and what I meant was this show, the Elder Law Report, is brought to you by McIntyre Elder Law, where we are doing our civic duty in the form of offering free legal consults from our attorneys to you and to the community. You can call 704-749-9244 to take advantage of that right now, 704-749-9244, or go online where you can chat with our chat people, the chatters, 24 hours a day, and they can connect you straight to our office to make that consult. Okay. I would behoove you to do that, to get your affairs in order during this time of crisis. Okay. And you know what? Heaven forbid if it takes the coronavirus for you to get your affairs in order, then that's what it takes. Okay. But we're all on this planet. We're all in the same game, and we're all going to die. I hate to break it to some people out there that think they're going to live forever. Ain't nobody living forever. Me, you, or anybody else.
You're not going to be frozen?
So I'm going to go to 150, then I'm going to be frozen. Thaw me out in 1,000 years. Okay? Besides me, all right? So yeah, I mean, we're all in the same game. It just so happens that we're in a crisis. And faith and taking control and not panicking can get us through this crisis, okay? Mm-hmm. So let's have that. So, Brenton, a will may not be the best place if I tell you in a consult how my money and property is set up or what dangers I have of needing Medicaid to pay for long-term care and running up a huge Medicaid bill with the state.
Yeah.
It might not be the best place for me to pass my hard-earned money and property, my real estate.
It's certainly inefficient to just rely on a will to pass your assets when you pass away, because you have to go through the probate process if you have a will and just a will, if you haven't set up things in other ways. And if you go through that probate process, it can take a long time. We definitely know that. We handle a lot of estates at McIntyre Elder Law, and it can take anywhere from 6 months to 2 years, depending on what happens in the estate. Every estate is different, and it's certainly an opportunity for people to sue, challenge a will, maybe something like that. It's certainly an opportunity for creditors to come in and take your hard-earned money and property that you want to leave behind for your loved ones. And that's really what I think you're getting to there, Greg, is that, in North Carolina, even if you qualify for Medicaid, right, and they pay out and, cover that bill, even though you've kicked into that system your whole life.
Even though you paid for that system already with the 50 cent out of every dollar you earned that you gave to the state.
Yeah.
Or maybe more than 50 cent.
Right.
Count sales tax and everything else.
So basically, they're paying you that pot of money that you already shipped into.
And giving you your money back.
Yeah. They want the money that they pay out back. I mean, they're kind of a greedy system like that. So in that respect,
I didn't say that. It is what it is.
It is what it is. There we go.
Render under Caesar.
That's right. So that being said, the way that they get their money back, Medicaid specifically, is that if you pass away, your stuff goes through probate, well, they can come and take it. But we're a limited recovery state here in North Carolina, so if your stuff doesn't pass through probate, they can't take it, okay, with one exception. And we can talk about that a little bit, but, the best way to do it is, hey, if we're talking about the home, one of the main assets, the best way to do it is set it up to where that passes outside of probate. And a lot of people out there are pretty smart, right? They understand they need to avoid probate. So they think to themselves, okay, well, what I'll do is I'll give away my home, right? And you've probably heard about that. You've probably heard a lot of people say, hey, if you reach a certain age, right?
Give your home to your kids.
Yeah, start giving stuff away, right? And, I mean, Greg, we ask this question a lot. What age do you think people should start giving away their stuff?
What age should I give away my home?
Yeah.
Like to my kids?
Yeah.
I think if we're in that spot, we've got the wrong system.
Yeah.
If we're asking that question, that's ridiculous.
Exactly.
Yes, because, I want to be able to control it. If I want to give my kids something, I will. But I don't want to have to do it because I'm afraid if I don't, the whole family's going to lose it.
Yeah.
Britton, aren't there other ways that I can protect my hard-earned money and property and keep control of them for the rest of my life?
Absolutely. You can set it up to where it avoids probate and you don't have to give away your home. And you can do the same thing not only with the home, but with any type of money or any other type of asset. And that's deed work, that's trust work. So deeds and
trust are so beautiful in times like today. I really would love to have a whole show where we talk about the convertible trust. I think we're going to come back weekly during this crisis. We're going to talk to Calvin, station owner, about doing that. So we'll talk more about the convertible trust. Revocable living trust, irrevocable trust work very differently. A convertible trust, also I've heard it called a trigger trust, which I like.
Yeah.
Triggered to go from revocable to irrevocable when certain healthcare events happen or upon the signing of a very short, say 1-page, 2-page amendment to protect your hard-earned money and property and pass them outside of probate, protect them against that Medicaid grab back or creditor grab back.
That's right. It's a trust with crisis planning built into it, right? So if something like this happens where you're affected and
Sure.
and your assets are affected, it switches into protection mode and protects your assets.
And I'd give Attorney Begley full credit for designing that trust. Very, very nice trust. So,
Thank you.
So, I have an April Fool's joke for you.
All right.
Okay. My family's going to have to sell everything that I've worked for my entire life because I failed to put an estate plan in place in a time of crisis.
I'm waiting.
Is that a funny joke? No?
No.
It is a joke because I've got my estate plan in place. I've already done my estate plan. I know who's going to be my agent. I know who can handle our financial affairs. My wife has the flexibility to move at any time to protect our assets, and I have her blessing and authority through a general durable power of attorney to do that. So that's not a very good joke, okay? And it is a joke because that's not how I'm set up. And I don't want the April Fool's joke to be on you.
Yeah.
So I would encourage you to take advantage of what we're offering right now, which is a free consult. I've waived our attorney consult fees, and you get the ability to schedule a free consult with us in person, by phone, or video conference at McIntyre Elder Law with one of our estate planning and elder law attorneys. And we literally schedule consults and see clients 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Is it limited in how long this will be offered?
It is for a limited time during this crisis. It is for a limited time during this crisis as a civic duty to waive that because I feel like there's an enhanced need right now for people to get their affairs in order, get their stuff together, and to have that peace of mind, knowing that no matter what situation they get themselves into right now, like I said, I could not make this situation up. It is like some kind of otherworldly movie script situation we're living in.
Apocalyptic kind of thing. People don't know how to behave.
So I'd encourage people to take control, get their planning in place, and go forward every day with the peace of mind and knowledge that no matter what may come, they have their affairs in order. Yes, ma'am.
Can I show you something really kind of unique?
You can show me something,
Somebody
but the people on the radio would need you to describe it for me.
Well, okay. I have here a plastic folder
Okay.
that you put documents in, and
Sure.
just kind of. All right, people are taking these, and they are the clear ones. This is the only one I could find,
Right.
and they are making headbands
Right?
to go around to avoid them
face
from
shields.
getting
Yeah.
picking up these moisture
Sure.
germs or the virus that's in the air.
Mm-hmm.
They have a long suspension life, like
30 minutes in the air.
30 minutes. So you might walk down an aisle at Walmart and nobody be there, but 30 minutes or 20 minutes or 10 minutes ago there
Sure.
would have been. So they have been making their own mask by gluing or taping or whatever something here so that you shop like this.
So
I
you
think
can
that's
make
really
a
cool.
face mask or a headband out
And
of a plastic folder and some tape.
And you're not taking these disposables
Or some other
out of
kind
the
of thing.
market for the people who need them, the first responders and the
Sure.
caretakers. I thought that was just
That's
a good
very
idea.
good knowledge, Hayden. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Anything we can do to help people have more knowledge during this time of crisis. So anything in closing, guys? What do you think? We have a few minutes left, a couple minutes left.
Call grandmother. Call grandfather. They're having to be isolated.
Check in with your
You can't
family.
go visit them, but call them.
Especially call the people that are shut in right now that which most of us, but contact your loved ones, your friends.
One other thing
Friends, yeah.
I've heard, the grocery stores, the only thing that they are concerned with that you might pick up and might be bad was produce.
Right.
So you can wash your produce in salt water. The salt water is very acidic or whatever and would kill the germs.
Okay.
And strawberries use vinegar and water.
Right.
Or fruits.
So wash your produce,
Wash your produce.
maybe in salt water.
Or just rinse it off before you put it in the refrigerator.
I would just put out there the disclaimer that none of us are doctors or
Oh,
none of us
absolutely.
were
Absolutely.
We're simply regurgitating things that we've heard or read online.
These are things some people have suspected may be places to carry it, but
Sure.
we don't have any documented cases
I,
that this has
I
ever
have
worked.
I have no knowledge of that. I am an attorney,
Me either.
and specifically, I'm an estate planning and elder law attorney. Beyond that, my knowledge is limited. So, Britton, what would you say to everyone out there in closing?
Yeah, I'd say that, if you like what you hear, or even if you didn't, we have a lot of information, and you can go to our website, mcelderlaw.com, and see a bunch of different things, videos, articles, and we have a book, Saving the Farm, that you wrote, Greg, and
I did.
Making a signed copy available for everyone. That book has all the information we talked about today and more, and we'd be happy to provide you with a copy of that and any other information that you need.
Agreed. Yeah, we've got ebook copies, we've got audiobook copies, we've got physical paperback copies. We'd love to place one in your hands or on your screen or in your ear today, okay? So that you can learn how to protect your hard-earned money and property. And I just thank everyone out there for listening. I just give a shout out to my wife and children who are listening at home today. And they're doing really well. And my parents who are in Savannah, Georgia, who are hunkered down, and my sisters, my whole family out there. I just tell them to stay safe, and I hope they have peace of mind. I'll tell you one thing this has done is it's allowed me to hang out with my family a little more and eat some home-cooked meals, right? So, Milton, how much time do we have left? A minute or two? Okay. So, in closing, I'm going to piggyback on what Brenton said, and we're going to come back to you hopefully next week, give you another hour. We're going to get a little more in-depth, talk about those trusts. If you want to talk to us in the meantime, I'd suggest you take advantage of that free consult we're offering. Waiving our consult fees during this time of crisis. Call 704-749-9244 or online at mcelderlaw.com. That's mcelderlaw.com. And I'm Greg McIntyre, Brenton Begley, Hayden Soloway. Thank you so much, everyone out there, for listening. And stay safe. Have a great day. And hope to see you soon. Okay? Bye.
Bye.
Good job.
Yeah, that went well.
Yeah. Thought we got to most of the things. And there were some funny parts, right? You know? Did you download it or post it? Or is it saying download or post? Gotcha. Yeah, so what I'll do first, check
Thank
that.
you.
I'll hit download.
This was fun.
Theirs will
I
be
like
the better
it.